Good morning everyone. Today I'm at a tabletop exercise event being held by the DOTr. They've invited 16 agencies under them to give presentations on how they'll deal with different scenarios. Of course they are transport related since it's DOTr. So one scenario might be that Naia airport has been hit by an earthquake. Passengers are stuck inside the terminal, they're injured, there are flights overhead. What are you going to do? Another one might be that there's been a railway, maybe a crash or a stalled train, something like that, and passengers are starting to force the doors open. How are you going to deal with this? Other issues might be communication. So globe unavailable, smart unavailable. How are you going to reach other departments? How are you going to communicate with your own people? Do you have radios and things like that? So it's been split into 4 different groups. Over here we have maritime, over here we have land, over here we have rail, and then that big group over there is aviation. So they've been given many scenarios. I think there's actually 20 in total, and they have to prepare presentations or answers, and they have 2 hours to do so. So obviously everyone's very busy right now, and the purpose of this tabletop exercise is to check that all of the agencies are actually ready to deal with emergencies. Of course, simulating events like the recent shake drill is also quite useful, but sometimes a tabletop exercise like this can be just as useful, and they can cover a lot more scenarios because it's all on paper. Of course that doesn't mean that it translates to actual action when the big event happens, but now out of the 16 agencies invited by the DOTr, there are 2 missing. Hopefully they have a good excuse for that, because this is really serious business, and all of these answers and presentations will be reviewed by Secretary Tagade, because he wants to make sure that they're really prepared for these kind of emergencies, not just earthquakes, anything.
We would like to welcome you all to the celebration of National Disaster Resilience Month 2019.
While it's a tabletop exercises, it should be reflective of what you believe the scenarios will be when the big one comes. Yun pa rin ho, isa mo sa ano natin dito, scenarios yung earthquake. Pero I think we should be ready for all forms of calamities, all forms of natural disasters. So, let's keep that in mind po. Facilitate, ang gusto po niya, mabilis ang action natin pag nangyari nga itong mga disaster ito.
Why is there a need to put instrumentation in buildings? Number one, try to understand that what is designed is not necessarily what is constructed. One way to confirm if it followed the code is to put instrumentation. So the instrumentation, walang kawala yan, because you can compute, the engineers can actually compute based on the design, and you can actually see if your computations conform to how the building behaved during the earthquake. So that's one indicator. Second is a status of health. It will tell you how the buildings will respond, not only to earthquakes but also to wind. Okay, so sometimes very strong gusts of wind will force the building to move. No, and with these types of record, you will see changes in the behavior of the building. How much the building moved, but also if there are significant failures that is now experienced by the building. Because nag-deviate na po, number one, yung period of building. The period of the building might have shifted, and that will tell you may mga failure somewhere na posibleng nakikita or posibleng hindi nakikita. Pangatlo, it could also serve as a warning system. No? So, if it's instrumented and connected to yung instrument natin to a warning system, it will tell you when to evacuate. No? So it will tell you, okay, evacuate na tayo, even if the ground floor did not experience very large levels of ground shaking. The higher floors might be convinced, okay, mag-evacuate na tayo. That's another thing.
We start with inject 1. Okay, this one is very easy, pero ito po ay sa aviation. Scenario number 1, the runway of the Naia was heavily damaged. Ayan po, with a 7.2 magnitude earthquake in Metro Manila, that is expected to happen. And during the earthquake, therefore, our flights have to be cancelled. Ayan po yung scenario. So the inject will be, what is the contingency of the MIAA and other agencies in the aviation sector, considering about 10,000 passengers are already inside the airport. And one Boeing 747 passenger airplane is about to land to Naiya. So, eto po, may contingency po ba ang aviation regarding this matter?
Given the overall outcome of the above scenarios, of the preceding scenarios that were presented, what are your findings and recommendations to improve your capacities? Okay? Please drop any issuance your agency or the DOTr may consider as part of our institutional mechanism for disaster response and recovery.
So over here on the Maritime Group, we have the Philippine Port Authority, we have the Office of Transport Security, I did see the lady earlier, you have Philippine Coast Guard, and then Marina over there. And right now they're working on scenario 3, which is strong shaking causing waves. Many people mistook it for a tsunami, and a cruise ship has called in an SOS. These tabletop exercises might not be as exciting as the shake drill, where you see people rappelling down buildings and drilling through concrete and things like that, but it is a very, very effective way of testing many scenarios at the same time. So for example, today they have 20 scenarios that they have to answer, and if they can't give a good answer, then it indicates something that needs to be worked on. So yeah, it's not very exciting, honestly, and I know a lot of people won't have interest in this video, but at least you'll know that this is happening and they are doing this, and hopefully they're doing it regularly, not just today, because this could really help the country. I mean, it will help the country as long as they come up with solutions and keep themselves prepared to serve the people and save the people when tragedies happen. Not just earthquakes, could be anything, could be a fire, it could be terrorist actions, you know, it could be anything.
Since a big part of the highway was damaged, an emergency crew had no means of transporting the victim to the hospital. Ano daw yung emergency plan? And number 17, it was reported that after the earthquake, many motorists passed through the toll booths and did not pay fees. How will you remedy on this situation? This is per agencies. So the TRB, sabi po nila, is they can suspend toll fees. Tama naman po. In case of emergency, pwede naman po. Tama naman po, sir. And then, sabi nga rin po nila, they can use concessionaires such as heavy equipment, firefighting, and medical support within the TRB. Pero what if, sabihin mo natin na sira po yung daan, kahit po wala si LTFRB, pinakailangan na po namin yung caution. So, sa kanila po, pwede po sila magkaroon ng contingency routes for emergency responder and extraction. Baka kasi mamaya, sira-sira po yung daan, pwede po magkaroon ng rerouting. Then, sabi nga po, doon sa senaryo, sira-sira po yung daan. The LTO make clear to mobilize for emergency purposes within NLEX. At the same time, they can coordinate with the Office of Transportation Cooperatives for additional vehicle support and assistance. Ang sinabi lang po kasi dito sa scenario is NLEX. Ang medical supply, baka mamaya, hindi lang po sa NLEX dadaan. Siyempre po, meron tayong adjacent doon sa NLEX. May region 3 tayo, may ibang region tayo. Yun na po yung time na pwede po makipag-coordinate po sa amin para tawagin po natin yung ating mga transportation cooperatives to assist them in transporting medical supplies. Baka mamaya may mga patients tayo na yung vehicle naman is pwede naman i-accommodate yung mga patients natin. So, pwede po yun. And then, baka mamaya, magkaroon po ng, huwag naman ho sana, hindi magandang pangyayari po doon sa karoon ng panic. OTS may have the power to control the crowd and transportation security.
So I chose the aviation as an observer, and when they were saying that they will right away activate their emergency, the EOC or the Incident Command Center, so natutuwa na po kami doon. That's the first thing you should do, and be able to man that system, no, or that operation. So yung traffic situation, okay, you concentrated too much on the inside of the airports, but you did not consider the traffic situation that it will cause, you know, lalo na yung mga stranded people and they'd like to go home, tapos the other communities are also very much affected. Parang hindi ho nyo na-consider yun. That's one point I'd like you to...
Scenario 4, land transportation. Okay. Your scenarios actually is intended to assess your internal emergency response team, no? Kasi eto, hindi pa kayo lalabas, nag-collapse sa opisina nyo, ay nasaktan. And how do you respond to them? Okay? Let's put it in context. Siguro applicable sa lahat to. A fire is a localized emergency. Meaning, yung security guard, while the fire extinguisher, trying to extinguish the fire, call the fire department. BFP will arrive in 5 minutes. No? Then, parating na dyan yung mga responders. Okay? That is a very localized emergency. An earthquake, gaya ng scenario na pinag-usapan natin, is a widespread emergency. So, you don't expect, when you call 911 or you call for help, there's a response. No? So, ito medyo applicable sa lahat to. Try natin i-recalibrate pag earthquake yung scenario. Baka, at the end of the day, there is no response. So, I am advocating yung YOYO or YOYO. Narinig nyo na ba yun? YOYO. You're on your own. Sa Tagalog, bahala ka sa buhay mo. Which is the basis of us na kumukoment tayo sa Amerika, dapat may mga go-bags tayo. Because sabi ng federal government ng Amerika, bahala kayo sa buhay nyo for the next 72 hours. That is 3 days. You have to be self-contained with your food, your water, your first aid supplies, etc. No? So, context lang. Dahil narinig namin sa lahat ng plano, we will coordinate and we will ask for help. During an earthquake scenario, baka walang help. You are the help. You are the responder of your own. Basically, your Inject 11, 12, 13, and 14 will measure or will evaluate kung meron kayong mga emergency plans. Meron po ba kayong emergency plans? Yung in case of fire, what to do? Meron, no? Tawag natin doon, emergency response plan. Very specific.
We really have to look deeper into what the situation is for us to be able to come up with a solution. So I'm talking about the tactical solutions to the aspects. But I think the bigger issue in our exercise today is wala pong tabletop exercise na mayroong resulta na perfect ang sagot ng lahat. The reason why we're having tabletop exercises is to bring out all the possible problems that would crop up. And this afternoon, marami na hong mga lumalabas and much of them has been unsaid. I think we have already beaten to pulp yung mga issues respectively in aviation, on land, and in maritime. The only thing that I would more or less recommend that you guys bring when you will hear is, let's all go back. Have we achieved the objectives by which this tabletop exercise have been undertaken? If you ask me, it's both a yes and a no. I would recommend Mali, that aside from their respective agency contingency plans, that there would be a sector overarching guidelines or policies that would harmonize the interrelated agencies insofar as the performance of the DOTr mission is concerned.
Very exciting, I think, this presentation. Sana nga lang naman sa able to open this door. Bigla na ako connected sa... Anyway, good afternoon po sa inyo lahat, especially to our observer. Ang kinuha ko po talagang observer ito yung may kalidad and expert in their particular field. No? Yusek Corazon, former Yusek Corazon Meneses of the DNA. The Admiral Pama, the former OCD. OCD siya, nawakan niya yung OCD for almost 3 years. And of course, my good friend Martin Aguda, representing the private sector. Sila yung mga dalas kong makasama niya when I was still in the Commander 9 Sir Command and when I was still in the name of the lagi ko sila nakasama. Anyway, to all the participants, the organizers, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. On behalf of the Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Tugade, I wish to thank you all for your wonderful presentation. Kanina nakita ko properly talaga, para academic standard. Valuable discussion and active participation for the past hours since this morning. Hanggang ngayon po. I have seen outstanding collaboration. Kanina nakita ko how you work
together, talagang discussion between different agencies. Ito po yung kailangan natin, collaboration when it comes to planning and the drill and exercises. It symbolizes another milestone and to enhance cooperation of disaster management and resiliency operation between the different sectors of the DOTr. Right now, wala po tayo involved na ibang agency dito. And darating po yan because this just a first step in professionalizing the management of disaster of the Department of Transportation. That includes the respective agencies. Ang Department of Transportation ay nahalata na bigyan ng task under the National Disaster Risk Management Council and of course in the MDNC na mag-lead ng transportation cluster. No? Sa atin po ang tinokayan, especially when there is a disaster. Maybe this not only for earthquake but in other types of multi-hazard. No? There are cases na in case of typhoon, ako po ang lagi tatawagan ng NDRIMC to coordinate for the transfer of stranded personnel, both maritime, aviation, and by land. And that also for the transfer of shipment of the relief goods. Tayo po ang nataasan dyan ng Department National Disaster Coordinating Council. Yan na nga po dahil sa mandatong yun, tayo ang isa dyan. And that's what we are simulating or taking this exercise, tabletop exercise. We have to find a common ground for the whole emergency operating procedure. Right now po na nakikita natin yung gaps, we were able to establish now how to fill that gaps. No? And of course, each agency right now can have an idea how to come up with your respective SOPs or protocol when coordinating or when responding disaster. In conclusion, please allow me to offer my sincere appreciation lalo po sa ating mga observer. Talagang the whole day po sila nagsaga dito just to share their experience, their expertise sa inyo. And of course, to thank you for the organizer na nitong event na to. And lastly, yung pong mga participants, alam kong yung oras nyo ay dinibot nyo rin dito para kasama sa pag-exercise nito. Anyway po, this will just be a first step and we will be having another exercise. Ito naman po yung simulation nato. Then up to the time that we will go on the drill line. So this is just an information for you so that we can level up our disaster plan, yung andyan po yung weaknesses and strength ang plan natin this coming days. By the way, the outcome of this successful workshop will be the foundation to further expand the cooperation among other agencies, sector, and attached agencies. Later on po, we will not be involving yung member na ng NDRIMC or the NDRRC para mag-level up na po tayo. Again, thank you very much to everybody for coming here and let's work together and finalizing po yung ano natin, yung kanya-kanyang pag-transition plan.